This relates to the first A in TRAAP, accuracy. Accuracy means the information is true and correct. As you browse the site, be on the lookout for signs that indicate whether or not the information is accurate. Look for correct spelling and proper punctuation and grammar. Information that is consistent with what you know or have found in other sources is more likely to be accurate. Stop and wonder about any information that is significantly different from other sources. Also, responsible sources usually list or cite where they found their information, so question an author who does not include citations. Speaking of authors, the second A in TRAAP stands for author. Author means who is responsible for creating the information on the site. Sometimes this is a person, but other times this could be a group of people or an organization. Let's investigate the author of the information. Look for the words about or info, which may include information about the author. These links tend to be on the perimeter or edge of the site. While reading, think about these questions. Is the author an expert on this topic? For example, if you're studying endangered species, an article by a zoologist or even an article written by a reporter citing animal experts would be a good source. Is the author from a trusted group like a university, an organization, or a government agency? If it's a trusted organization like the San Diego Zoo, they would be more likely to have accurate information as a way to maintain their reputation. If you are uncertain about an author or organization, do an internet search to see what others think about their work and ideas. Getting to know the author may help you understand their purpose for providing the information. The P in TRAAP stands for purpose. Purpose means the reason the author is posting the information. Sites are often created to sell, entertain, persuade, or inform. The best kind of source to find for research is the site intended to inform. One way to detect the purpose of a site is to look at the end of the URL or web address. The last three letters of the URL determine the site's domain. Examples are .org, .edu, .com, and .gov. Educational or government sites are more likely to provide trustworthy information. These sites usually end in .edu or .gov, like this example from NASA about the Hubble Space Telescope, which is a .gov site. Commercial sites are usually motivated to make money in some way, and they usually end with .com. These sites are often not as useful for research because their purpose is to sell their product, like this example from Lego.com. Personal sites typically have the person's name in the URL, but not always. If you're looking for information about a well-known person, like the author Rick Riordan, his site would be a good source for information about his books. However, personal sites from unknown people are not necessarily reliable. For example, if you find a website from a 5th grader who is a fan of Rick Riordan, you would need to evaluate it even more closely. Here's another tip for understanding a web address. Shortening the URL to find the homepage of the site you are viewing might give you details about the group or organization that is providing the information. On this page about giant pandas, we learn that the author is the World Wildlife Federation by shortening the URL to www.worldwildlife.org. By clicking on the About link, we learn that the World Wildlife Federation is a conservation organization dedicated to preserving nature, which might indicate this organization's bias. Sources intended to persuade readers are biased. An author's opinions, thoughts, and feelings in favor of or against a topic are called bias. The information a person or group presents reflects his or her bias. An article about salmon runs from the fishing industry would emphasize a different point of view than an article written by a biologist. Both articles would contain biased points of view. The fishing industry's main goal is to make money from salmon fishing. The biologist's main goal would be to limit fishing to preserve the salmon runs. Your job as a researcher is to recognize the biases in both points of view and decide if the information suits your research question or not. When you decide to use a site, knowing about the author's purpose will help you best use the information. TRAAP is your tool to find the best information the web has to offer. In review, TRAAP stands for timeliness, relevance, accuracy, author, and purpose. Remember, you want to avoid the traps of the internet and capture the good information. This will help you make better decisions and stronger arguments. So when that kid comes up to you on the playground and says polar bears are eating garbage in people's backyards, just trap him. For specific examples and for more information about this topic and the entire research process, explore OSLIS. Thank you to the Oregon Clip Project for allowing the OSLIS committee to adapt their tutorials. OSLIS. Learn to research, research to learn.